What could possibly be better than self-improvement? I mean, the term speaks for itself in relation to how it makes a positive significance in your life. You are leveling yourself up in some way, whether that's your finances, your confidence, your self-awareness, anything really. But when you are always immersed in the self-improvement mindset, it can be extremely detrimental to you actually improving your life. If that sounds kind of backwards, let me explain this. So in my video, Your Self-Help Obsession is Making You Toxic, I talked about how self-help took over my personality and made me super egotistical and closed-minded. But I want to talk about it in an even broader sense now, this collective obsession that humanity has with trying to fix and improve things, and the environments that helped me leave this improvement bubble. Recently, I've been thinking about how pretty much all solutions to a problem are illusions in a sense. Because most of the time, the minute you solve one problem, two new problems arise from it. What I've noticed is that the more I become spiritually aware with myself, or what people like to call vibrating at a higher frequency, the more I realize that I'm more sensitive to things that aren't good for me. For example, when I quit drinking alcohol and partying every weekend and I started to eat primarily whole foods, I found that even if I drank just a little bit, I would feel fucked the next day. And if I eat like shit now, it messes me up a lot more than it used to. And common sense would suggest the opposite, that the more healthy my body, my mind, and my spirit is, the easier it would be to handle those things and get them out of my system, but that is not the case. When improving yourself or solving a problem, you kind of have to choose which problems are worth having after you get to that solution or that improvement of yourself. It's kind of like exchanging worse problems for better problems. This can also be seen in the many ways that humanity has tried to fix or improve things that supposedly help us. Through the development of modern medicine, and specifically antibiotics or the overuse of antibiotics, we create new, stronger bacteria capable of creating even deadlier diseases. Another example is how this is used in factory farming. We created factory farming so we could help feed the exponentially growing population at a lower price. Factory farming equals improvement for humanity. But the horrific conditions in which animals are kept in requires them to take loads of antibiotics just to keep them alive before they land on your plate. And before they land on your plate, due to this system, we've created more and more bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics, and then you consume that food. So maybe it wasn't the best or right improvement after all. There's plenty of other examples like this, but it can really be summed up by saying that if humanity and the individual tries too hard to improve anything, the rate at which problems arise will increase with it, if not increase at a greater rate. But that also leaves the question, isn't evolution just part of human nature? No matter what we did, humans were going to evolve into something more genetically enhanced. And with that line of thinking, you could say that all these improvements we've made are indeed natural because they're an extension of the human condition. I slightly agree and slightly disagree with this. Yes, I do think it's natural for one to want to improve themselves and grow and evolve and get better, and the same goes for humanity in general, but I think at some point we took it too far and it started doing more harm than good. I don't think I'll ever know when exactly this actually happened, but when cultures around the world, but honestly I don't think anyone does it worse than the US, put so much emphasis on productivity, improvement, and bettering people's lives, that obsession with making things better actually started to make things worse. Wait a second, Cole, hold the fucking phone. In your last video, you said the complete opposite of this pretty much. Weren't you encouraging people to push past resistance and get better every single day by showing up every day? Yes, I was, and the fact that this video slightly contrasts that video, it's all by design. Because I want to highlight the importance of having a balance between improvement and being, which is something that I'm still actively trying to work on myself. When the sole purpose of your life is to improve, you're never gonna feel fulfilled. What is necessary of you isn't to try to get to your financial or career or any other improvement goals that you have as fast as possible. It's to practice the art of slow growth. This is what I believe is the natural human condition. To, of course, want to to improve, but at the same time, let that improvement happen almost effortlessly over time while consistently working on yourself, but never overdoing it. From personal experience, I can tell you that all of the things that I have not rushed to grow in my life have been far more beneficial and enriching to me than those things that I got quickly. And there are two places specifically where I found this lesson to unfold in real life that I want to share with you so you're not just trying to comprehend my words. The first place where this is clearly evident is within nature. I think nature can teach us a lot about ourselves, considering how similar we are in structure to the plants and wildlife that are within it. Nature does not try to grow, and without effort, it grows. Do you really think a tree tries to force the earth to produce faster ways for it to become larger? No, it fully understands that what's needed for its growth is already here, and it lets it happen without any external strenuous activity. And I think that's part of the reason why being out in nature is so calming, because you can subconsciously feel that nature takes its time in allowing itself to grow and change. And when the time comes for it to wither away and die, it doesn't try and fight its death. It doesn't try to squeeze out 2 or 3 more years out of itself through unnatural methods. It simply accepts it and lets it happen. It doesn't try to achieve anything, and thus it achieves everything it needs to. And for a long time, I searched for places similar to nature where this calm sense of completeness would be evoked within me. And the only other place that I can recall having this same feeling is in a bookstore. You see, bookstores aren't like other businesses. They're in no rush to improve. They might have even looked the exact same for years. And yet still, people will always come back to them no matter what. The first bookstore I felt this way was a small shop I had found when I was living in Vegas, but I recently found a bookstore near my new apartment that makes me feel like I'm transported into a different world when I'm in it. In that brief period of time, I'm walking around looking at all the different genres of books, the intricacies of its unorganized organization. I get the sense that everything I've been stressing about when I'm behind my desk in my apartment is insignificant. Like all those voices inside my head saying, you should be working right now, what are you doing, you need to improve yourself, all of that just suddenly quiets itself. It's a huge wake-up call for me, and it reminds me of the benefits of taking a step back and allowing your growth to happen slowly and naturally. So the next time you feel the urge to quickly improve yourself, remember this. If your whole life is spent rushing to improve yourself and to get to that next level of improvement, your entire life is really spent just rushing towards death. Big thank you, as always, to the patrons on this channel on Patreon. If you don't know what this is a platform separate from YouTube where I'm putting out exclusive videos and podcasts you can't find anywhere else. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description, patreon.com/Cole Hastings. Thank you guys so much for watching the video all the way till the end. It means a lot. It helps out the channel a lot. Hopefully this resonated with you and gave you some new insight on how to approach life as usual with my videos. That's what I want. And yeah, I'm gonna go try to just be and not try to so quickly improve myself.